Here it is, already the end of November, and I'm craving handmade rose water. So fortunately, I live in California, and I still have roses growing in my garden. These are highly fragrant hybrid roses that I plant. I don't plant any roses unless they're very fragrant. To make a handmade rose water is very simple. It's a lot easier than to make a hydrosol. So I'm going to start today just with a rose water. And you need your stainless steel pot or a glass pot. Distilled water or spring water is fine. And then of course your fresh rose petals. And if this is optional, but you can use a mortar and pestle and kind of like mash the roses a little bit to bring out the oils, kind of like this. Or you can tear up the roses before you put it in the pot, which will help release some of that oil. Or if you don't want to do any of that, you can just add it to the water. So we have distilled water. And you're going to bring that to a high boil. Okay, once you have the water boiling, you're going to add your rose petals. You put your lid on to keep the fragrance in and the steam in. You turn your heat off and you remove the pot from the stove and let it cool down. So here's what the rose petals look like. Most of the color is out of them. So the water takes on a little tint of whatever color roses you used. Most of my petals were of a light pink. If you used more red, it would be a little bit more red. So at this point, while it's still warm, if you want to, there's several options you can do. There's 3 things you can add to it. You can add glycerin, or a little bit of aloe vera gel, or a little bit of almond oils. And glycerin is a humectant, which helps to retain moisture in the skin and hair. You can also add a few drops of skin or hair oil, like almond oil. Almond oil has a beautiful affinity with roses. There's other oils you could also add. And you can also add aloe vera gel, a few drops of that. You can add all 3 of these or just one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and strain the roses out of the water. As you can see, it's a beautiful pink color. You can also filter the rose water through an unbleached coffee filter. If you don't want any particles from the rose petals in there. But make sure you do this before you add any other ingredients to it. In this 2 cups, I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of glycerin. Four drops of almond oil. And I'm also going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of aloe vera gel. It's great to use small containers because then you can use it up in a faster amount of time and it will last longer. This does not have a preservative in it, so they need to be kept in the fridge and ideally used within a week. There are ways to effectively naturally preserve it, but we're not going to do that here today. And then you just put your cap on. Rosewater is excellent for the skin, the hair, and the scalp. It helps to moisturize and soothe the skin, and it adds shine to the hair.